And here is Samson's take. Journalists block the pretentious idiots. I've taken a break from a PhD in law after 2 years of demanding studies. People I have a deal of respect for, including a couple of judges, have asked me to consider teaching law, which I do occasionally as guest lecturer, home and abroad. But I feel it's better doing so after a PhD research experience, being fortified. A PhD must signify scholarship and wisdom that places a patriotic restraint on the holder to a professional and ethical conduct. It is embarrassing how a growing number of PhDs reduce the esteem one ought to have for those who have endured the discipline to earn it. Lawmaker Dr. Kingsley Nyako is bold to give the lame and pathetic excuses and justifications you have heard, because nothing will happen to him. In fact, he lies on paper that he gave out the money for lunch because lunch had not been provided to the officials. Lunch at 10 a.m., be wise. He had claimed that what was in that envelope was a document. If the police is not serious about prosecuting the plain criminal conduct, they will charge him under the Representation of the People Law, PNDC Law 284, prohibiting acts of undue influence, bribery, and corruption in elections. By that law's ridiculous Section 42, they require the Attorney General's express permission to prosecute such offenses. In Ghana, AGs hardly or do not prosecute members of their political party. The chances are good if they resort to similar or even more direct provisions in the Criminal and Other Offences Act as amended in 2020. Or if the OSP, which does not require AG's consent, takes up this case on its corruption mandate. Dear friends, we cannot build a decent society if there are no consequences for wrongdoing for a class of people. Imagine the one who did this was not an MP. He would have been in custody. These days, some PhDs open their mouths on radio and TV, and you are left feeling embarrassed for them. They, who should lead a debate of ideas and intellectual analysis, are often heard trading insults and talking such bizarre, illogic propaganda that leaves people asking how and where such minds got a PhD. Many have suffered the pretentious idiocy of the Dr. Nyakos and Dr. Appiah-Hennes of this world. The president spurned good advice to revoke Peter Appiah-Hennes' appointment. He will also not resign despite calls by well-meaning citizens and CSOs. This is not good, because the EC, like Caesar's wife, must be above suspicion. But the election procedures are such that one may say it will take an idiot of a criminal to attempt to manipulate election results. In Ghana, presidential and parliamentary election results have been a product of open, transparent candidates, party, voter, observer, police process from start to finish. This is the reason the Supreme Court in 2013 soundly rejected the NPP's prayer to annul some results because presiding officers failed to do their constitutional duty of appending their signatures to the pink sheets. This brought about the law punishing these officers with fines and jail terms rather than visit their sins on innocent voters. In part 2, next week, I invite the media to be vigilant and credible ahead of the 2024 elections and to avoid becoming vehicles by the opposition, NDC especially, demonizing the EC without just cause. Congratulations, the UN says on World Press Freedom Day, for daring to challenge power, risking your lives to document atrocities, corruption, and crime, and to stand up against oppression. You, journalists, serve as the ultimate allies in human rights. And that is my take. We'll be right back.